Hello, everybody. Buddy Way, Midland, Texas. I posted something to Facebook today that I thought you might find interesting, and there's my Facebook under Buddy Wayne Webb, and I titled this "Home Intruder Killed Breaking into Home." Okay, and then I did a short write up and I'll show you here, and. But instead of just reading it all out here, basically I have a video there. I'll show you here in a minute. This is a short video. And I took each one of these paragraphs and then I made them into comments with proof backing them up. And so that's really what I want to show you. And we'll do it that way. 2 weeks before the murder attempt on my life on January 14, 2012. And keep in mind, today is January 14, 2020, 8 years ago today. I noticed that somebody was trying to enter my bedroom. I was concerned that the door was going to be kicked in, like I believe happened with the back door before Mike Lawhon died. And actually, at the time, I thought it was for retribution. I had tear gassed the attic a few days earlier. And so, anyway, I put this picture in here. I took this picture on the first day I looked at this home with my realtor, Janine Pruitt, and I happened to get a picture of the back door, and you can tell it's fine. And that's the point. This was dated October 1st, 2008. And the point is that is 28 days later on the home inspection report, which is at the bottom, that we found a hole in the door. Okay, so what had happened is 28 days later, this doorknob was kicked out. Somebody brute force entered from the garage back into the home here. So it time stamped with reports and the pictures, a brute force home invasion during the month of October, and that's when Mike Lawhon died. He died on the 12th. The previous homeowner, and of course, death notices, 2 different towns. I believe he was here, murdered here, and carried to Fort Worth, and that all happened the week before the 2008 oil show started. But anyway, the whole point of that is to say that I was concerned that my bedroom door was going to get kicked in and I was going to be murdered, like I believe happened to Mike Lawhon. So here's this next one. I quickly secured the door by placing live electricity on the doorknob. This was done by cutting off the end of an extension cord, stripping the wires, and wrapping the hot wire around the handle. Of course, the home intruders on the other side of the door would have no way of knowing this, and I have a little picture showing, how to do that. I used to be an electrician. I had an extension cord in the closet. I was under a home invasion. I was very concerned they were going to kill me, like I believe they murdered the last homeowner. Okay, and the reason I did that, like I said, is because I believe they kicked in that other door, and I was worried that was going to happen. And this was an incredible night of terror as they loudly let me know they were inside my home, but the door was never breached, the bedroom door. My front doors were bolted shut at the time, which means they had entered my home from the underground trapdoor that I would be ambushed and shot from 2 weeks later on January 28, 2012. And what I did here was, this is an information report, a police report. Officer Chandler was writing here, and one of the things she writes is, and the numerous locks and padlocks Buddy uses on his exterior doors. And there's more to that, but the main point was I was making is my outside doors were bolted shut, but there was people on the other side of my bedroom door which told me they come in from underground, and of course there's underground access to this home. After God saved my life and I crawled out on my hands and knees to survive the murder attempt, I decided to look up the obituaries and see if somebody had died on that day, which may have been one of the home intruders, okay? And so then this picture was taken from my security camera, 10:42. I'm crawling out on my hands and knees. The reason I crawled out is because they had stolen my cell phone and cut my phone lines, And here's a nurse's notes just less than an hour later at the hospital. She's writing down what I'm saying. Sirens are going off. The alarms kept going off. They were setting off burglar alarms in my attic over and over and over before I was shot. So 2 weeks later, after this January 14th date, I was ambushed and shot. That's premeditated capital attempted murder. I'm home minding my own business. They loaded their guns. They went from their home to my home to murder me, and God saved my life. And the next one, I saw where a young landman attorney named Matt Hyman died on the same day, and he was only 33 years old. Okay, oilfield landmen were already some of my top suspects because they're the ones who I believe to be connected with the oil show parties and the sex trafficking that goes along with it. Okay, now keep in mind, I believe that the underground facility in the backyard, multiple people said it's here. I believe one is in the backyard, and that's where the oil show parties were being held, the prostitution parties where the young girl was murdered at 2010 and all that. So anyway, I'm checking the obituaries to see, did anybody die on the day that I put electricity on my doorknob? And I find out a landman and here died on that same day, January 14th, 2012. Okay, Matt Hyman, 33 years old. Okay, but I didn't know how he died because the obituary didn't tell me. But it did tell me he was a landman. Okay, and then he went to school and he became an attorney. And Cotton Bledsoe Ty Dawson is the city's attorney. Okay, so and of course he was an oil field attorney, and so as I said already, landmen were some of my top suspects, and there's other information there, the name of his widow and all that. Okay, and here, let me expand that. I posted a story on my Facebook asking if Matt Hyman died inside my home, and come to find out his former sister-in-law, Natalie Hyman, was my nurse and a Facebook friend. Ask her questions which would eliminate him as a suspect, such as how did he die? If he had died in a car wreck, then I knew it wasn't him, but she told me that he died of a surprise heart failure with no known heart problems. I knew that electricity stops the heart. I asked her, when did he die? If he had died that morning, then I knew it wasn't him on the other side of the door. But she tells me that he died around the same time as when I was under a home invasion. Supposedly, his wife, Leslie, was the only witness to his surprise death. Okay, and I have a screenshot of where this is Natalie Sherry Hyman, and he died from a genetic heart defect no one knew he had. Okay, was he messing with electricity? No, he wasn't. Time of death, it was at night. He was home with his wife and kids. Okay, and so that my questions didn't eliminate him as a suspect, and then and already he's a landman. The young landman dies of heart. Electricity stops the heart. Okay, keep that in mind. So I'm like even more convinced that Matt Hyman died in my hallway. Okay. And so then two of Matt's friends, Chris Mertz and Brian Hillman, threatened me online as they were desperate to stop me from asking questions, and that threw up big red flags, okay? Chris was a landman for my company, Oilfield Landman, and Brian Hillman was also a landman. I wondered if they were here when Matt grabbed my door handle and died, and or were they with the murder party 2 weeks later when I was ambushed and shot with my phone lines cut. Maybe revenge was the motive for murder. If Matt's friends had called an ambulance, and that's saying if Matt died here, if Matt's friends had called an ambulance to help save his life, then they would be arrested for his death since they were all involved into breaking into a private home. So I wondered if they let him die in my home to save themselves. That's a very good question, because the people breaking into my home that night, there was absolutely somebody breaking into my home that night. And so if somebody did get electrocuted, Matt and their friends didn't call an ambulance, they let him die to save their own butt. Okay, and because maybe he would have survived. They would also need some other excuse to explain when their young friend died of a surprise heart failure at 33 years old, because telling the truth would open up a can of worms which would reveal the many homes that have been rigged, along with the multiple murders connected with that, and that's burglaries, thefts, the underground facilities, the tunnels, all of it. Police corruption, all of it. Here's a print screen of Brian Hillman, Dude, you're barking up the wrong tree. Take this down immediately, And here's Maria, she's reading it. Are they always threatening you like this, And here's Chris Mertz here, I worked with you, answered face to face like a man, he's going to beat up the crippled guy. Accept the consequences of bullcrap, craziness. And of course here, triple proof shows I wasn't shot with my gun. I'm a homeowner home by myself. Somebody tries to murder me and he's calling me crazy. That's big old red flags that Chris Mertz is trying to cover up a premeditated capital attempted murder. Okay. And so And then, interestingly, Brian Hillman tells me that that he later married Leslie, the widow of Matt Hyman, and the only supposed witness to Matt's death. Okay, and this he wrote me on private messenger, and he threatened me that he was going to sue me. And he tells me that this is my wife's late husband. Okay, so he married Leslie Reed Hyman. That's interesting in itself. And one thing he makes a point of, you'll see the story. It was a heart arrhythmia. CBS 7, they did a story, so that makes it a fact, And we're going to learn here in a minute. CBS 7 is the one that has hidden from the public the secret police gang that was secret for 7 years. They've hidden from the public proof of x-rays. They've hidden from the public the multiple people saying there's tunnels, underground facilities are here. Hidden from the public, secret police identified, 2 of them being dead. Their names are not on the police department. That's CBS 7, and he uses CBS 7 as their excuse. Remember, they would need an excuse to cover that up. Okay, and and I'm nice to him, Mr. Hillman. All right, tell him about the little girl being murdered, all that, and he writes back, "I'm not interested in your rhetoric bullshit. I don't care about little girls being murdered because they don't prostitute. I just want you to take this down." And I'm like, what's wrong with this person? And so I asked him, where were you at on January 28, 2012, the night of the murder attempt? I don't know. He can't remember where he's at, right? And so anyways, and I say, you'll see here in this video I'm going to show you here in a minute above, that CBS 7 has me blocked, has never told the public about the secret police, never told the public about the doctors who faked x-rays, has never told the public about the many homeowners that reported people in the attic, has never told the public about the 2 dead secret police that were not on the police reports. That would be Chad Simpson and Mike Naylor. Has never told the public about the first one that showed up at my house was a sheriff from a different county, right? And the many other people that have stated tunnels, underground facilities. There are many homeowners reporting people in the attic. And so I question CBS 7's integrity, and what I put in here was the names of the secret police. These are the ones identified by Empire Private Investigations 6 years later after I offered a $2,000 reward. First time in the history of America a crime victim offered a reward to identify police, and this is who gets identified in the pictures: April Chandler, Greg Chatwell, Marty Barrett, Rosie Rodriguez, Tony Dickey, Chad Simpson, now dead, Greg Nelson, John Woodward, a sheriff from a different county, first one to show up. Nobody's ever explained why a sheriff from a different county is at my house minutes after I survived a murder attempt. Mark Gilliam, Michael Glick, Mike Naylor, now dead, right? And the public was never told Mike Naylor, that died in the line of duty, was a secret police that had a reward offered for his identity for 6 years, and his name wasn't on the police report. Okay, these are names from the police report: April Chandler, Greg Chatwell, Marty Barrett, Rosa Rodriguez. Reason they're in red because they were also caught on camera, identified by Empire Investigations. Now, these were names on the police report that I only got in 2019, 7 years later. That police report had been illegally withheld from me. That's what caused the secret police, because they were hiding the police report. And there's a reason they hid it, it's because it was going to incriminate them. Okay, so Dylan Hale, Joe Ramirez, Kenny Angel, Matt Davis, they wasn't caught on camera or identified by Empire Private Investigations, but their names were on the police report. Okay, here's the big deal. 5 police officers, okay, Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale, were listed as being at or in my home, but they wasn't seen arriving on camera. Well, how can that be? Well, obviously they come in from underground, from the trap door, right? And they got guns. It looks like cops tried to murder me at home, and that would explain the cover-up. It explained why they hid the police report and everything else. That police were working with the burglars, the theft, the human trafficking ring, the underground facilities, all that, and they're murdering homeowners that are reporting crime. That's what it looks like, okay? And then the last dot point, if this theory is correct, then I suggest for Brian Hillman, Chris Mertz, and Leslie Hyman to start singing like a bird. Capital murder and capital attempted murder are very serious crimes with very big penalties. The truth is coming out real soon, and nothing can stop it. Okay, and so here, just last summer, this woman says, I recorded a woman telling me there were 4 3-bedroom homes, 25 foot deep, each cost $1 million. Okay. Another woman said she worked on this project. It was a $7.35 million project back in the 80s. Okay. And I've got that documented. Underground project. And then this woman says, go look at Google Maps, and that's what we're looking at. It's Google Maps. And what I see on the block screen is in my backyard is this large facility in my backyard, but when you go to the sat screen, it's not there. You see, look above ground, that's not there. So there's a large facility in my backyard seen on the block map, not seen on the from above ground. Obviously, one of the 4 underground 3-bedroom homes. I believe that's where the also parties were going, where that little girl was murdered at in 2010. It's the source of the murder of the last homeowner, suspected murder of the last homeowner. And then lastly, Ricky Ronaldo says, I used to live in that house. Oh yeah? Says, when I was a kid, there are tunnels into the house. Me and my brother would always go down there. And that's the tunnels from where I was shot from. And once again, it looks like police. Now, there's one other thing that I was told in so many words by the ex-wife. A lot of people were here. You know, I believe they were here. There was a party going on in the underground facility. And, you know, that's my property. This is all my property. They were not invited. They were in my underground home, and somebody tried to murder me. So all of them can be charged with capital attempted murder. If they're all breaking into a private home, one of them decides to kill the homeowner, all of them gets charged. Very, very important that they come forward and report this capital attempted murder, and then it's going to expose all the other crimes. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.
A Midland woman is warning people to get tested after her husband died of sudden cardiac death. What is it, and how do you diagnose it before it's too late? CBS 7's Felicia Bolton has her emotional story of prevention. Felicia?
Leslie Hyman says her husband was completely healthy, but within minutes he passed away of a heart problem they never knew he had. Leslie Hyman is living a new life after her 33-year-old husband, Matthew Hyman, passed away earlier this year of sudden cardiac death.
Really hard. Matt was very, very hands-on. Amazing daddy. When my daughter misses her dad, when my daughter tells me, I miss my daddy, and having to tell her that she wasn't going to get to see her dad again. He was my very best friend.
She says Matthew was healthy and had no signs of an illness, but within minutes he died on their bathroom floor of sudden cardiac death, an illness they never knew he had.
Just told me he wasn't feeling well. He felt a little sick to his stomach, and then he was gone. The autopsy report said it was an arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat.
After Matthew died, she checked his medical history, and he was never tested for heart problems. Now she's warning people to get tested because it could save their life.
I guess I just want people to be aware that you can be walking around and have something going on with you, and just to be proactive with your own health and not wait for a doctor to run tests, not wait till you have a reason to do them, but just to do them to make sure you're okay.
Through help and support of her family and friends, she and her children are able to survive. She says they're living each day to make Matthew proud and sharing his story to keep others from losing a loved one. To see if you could suffer from sudden cardiac death, ask your doctors to run a heart test during your next visit. In the newsroom, Felicia Bolton, CBS 7 News.